Hi, I'm Christina.
And I'm Christine. Welcome to Stereo Thematica.
Music is how we connect with the world and with each other. When I moved to Texas, Christina and I started a weekly game. One theme, two songs.
That game grew into deeper conversations about each other and about the music that shapes us.
Each week we share our picks, swap stories, and dig into tracks you might love
or never expect. Hey, Christina.
Oh, hey.
So I was thinking, just continuing the theme of self-care and community. Any recommendations of any podcasts or anything that bring you joy?
Yeah, definitely. I love to laugh when I listen to a podcast. And I'm pretty sure I shared this one with you. It's called I Said No Gifts with
yes.
Bridger Weiniger.
I am now a regular listener.
So silly.
Yes.
It's so funny. It's Bridger, the host, and then a guest comedian. And I just love his dry, insane humor. And then I also love, and I think you might have discovered this one independent of me, but the Off Menu podcast.
Oh, yes.
With James Acaster, who you mentioned in last week's episode, and Ed Gamble. And that one is actually one, we'll have to do this some other time, but it makes me think about my dream menu.
Oh, yeah.
And that is such a challenge for me because I'm very bad at picking favorites. So if anybody needs just to laugh and have a good chuckle, those are two really good ones.
Yeah.
What about you?
No, I mean, those two for sure. Those are regular listenings. Another one that I've been listening to a lot and look forward to each week is Anna and Isabella Do Improv.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. It's weird. It's weird because...
It's not weird. It's weird for you.
It's weird for me because I am not traditionally a fan of improv. Yeah. I love comedy. I love laughing. But I have in the past felt that improv feels a little too forced. But I love these two so much. First, I love their opening banter, but I also love their characters, and they're doing different characters all the time. They have so many characters and so many situations. And I'm not going to make any sweeping generalizations here, but I think it actually takes more talent to do improv than straight up stand-up.
Oh, interesting.
Yes. Yeah.
I think you're right. Because stand-up, you get the opportunity to prepare in advance, whereas improv, you just have to be funny on the fly.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
So they get these different prompts, and they just go off and create these whole stories in the moment with zero rehearsal. And it's hilarious. And then they get guests once in a while, and it's just so enjoyable.
Oh, I love that. I'm going to have to listen because you know that I love to
I think
improv
I think
on my own.
Yep, exactly.
I'm having an improv show that no one knows is happening.
Yeah,
I'm just doing it. Oh, I love that. What's it called? Anna
and Isabella Do Improv.
Do Improv. Okay.
Yep.
Will you link to that in the show?
We'll link to it. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, laughter and music, so important.
Yeah, they're the two selves.
Yeah. Anyway, without giving away your pick, Christina, what did you think when I shared the theme to another place?
You know, I can't remember. But when I'm kind of thinking back, it's almost always Sunday evening. I'm usually making dinner. And I think I was thinking music that literally takes you to another place. Is that what you had in mind?
Yeah. I mean, it could mean so much, but it doesn't have to be an actual location. It could be a state of mind. When I chose the theme, I was thinking literally, but also philosophically, and maybe even quantumly.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I need to know.
No, I don't even know what that means. I truly don't. But I do know that the song that takes me to another place is Amasakul in Tenere, which means Traveler in the Desert by the Tuareg band Tinariwen. Were you a fan of Tinariwen? Did you know the song?
Well, as you'll recall, in a previous episode, we talked about them, and I struggled through saying their name. But yes, definitely a fan. I did not know this song, but also, this is going to maybe sound messed up. I don't probably know the names of any of their songs because I just put it on, and I'm
sure,
not going to be able to say this one either, you know? But they're all so good.
No, it's hard. I know. And even like, I know I'm like stumbling through it, and even saying Tinariwen is difficult, and I might not be saying it right. Yeah. But besides that awe-inspiring opening, let's get into what's so special about the song, the album, the band, and even the larger Tuareg population who call themselves Kel Tamashek, meaning people who speak the Tamashek language. So for people who aren't familiar, they're a traditionally nomadic people spread across the Sahara, mainly in Mali, Niger, Algeria, and surrounding regions. And according to the Tinariwen webpage, their story begins with the band's founder, Ibrahim Ag Al Habib. He was 4 years old when he witnessed his father, who was a Tuareg rebel, executed by the government during the 1963 uprising in Mali. And Ibrahim grew up between the deserts and refugee camps of Algeria. Then one day he was watching a Western at like a makeshift desert cinema, and was struck by a scene with a cowboy playing guitar. So that just got him to build his own guitar using an oil can, a stick, and a bicycle brake wire. And he practiced old Tuareg melodies, Arabic pop, and Malian blues music of Ali Farka Touré, who you also mentioned in our episode on collaborations.
That's right.
So I'll return to Tinariwen's evolution in a bit, but I kind of want to get back to the theme. So I've never been to the Sahara. I've never even been to the south of Spain. I can't handle the heat. It's just, I sweat too much. I turn red. So this isn't about me like romanticizing the desert. I swear this isn't a Sheltering Sky fantasy. I loved that movie when it came out. I don't know how it holds up today, but I am musically transported to the desert when I hear this song. But it's so much more. I mean, the music is rooted in these very real experiences of displacement and struggle. And while I can't possibly relate to that, they are so masterful in the music that they have this ability to make you like forget where you are and all the BS around you.
That's very important.
Yeah, that's kind of the point of music, I think.
Yeah, a lot of the time.
Okay, so remember how you scoffed when I showed you how my Spotify Wrapped #1 genre was desert blues?
It wasn't a scoff. It was more of a WTF.
Okay, I'll take that. Well, I did some digging to make sure using the term desert blues is not akin to saying world music. It's legit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I mean,
but I won't apologize to Spotify.
No, for sure. I don't blame you. I was not sure about that either. That's why I had to look into it. But it actually refers to a pretty specific sound and tradition, the desert melodies blended with an electric guitar, basically.
Okay.
And that often reflects Tuareg history, exile, resistance, and survival. And to be clear, all desert blues is not Tuareg music and vice versa. So Tinariwen had been playing for Tuareg communities since 1979, recording cassette tapes, playing weddings, but they weren't widely heard outside of the region. Then in 1988, they were discovered by the French band Lojo. I've never heard of them until doing my research.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Lojo helped organize this desert festival in Mali in 2001. And that kind of introduced Tuareg music to international audiences.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then their first album that was widely released, the Radio Tista Sessions in 2001, was also co-produced by Lojo and the British guitarist Justin Adams. And that kind of set the stage for their global touring.
Cool.
You've not seen them live, right?
No, and they came to Houston, and I didn't know, but I think it was the day after I had gotten back from Japan.
Okay.
And so I was bummed.
Yeah, so Tinariwen are considered the pioneers who brought Tuareg music to a worldwide audience. And I've seen them twice in LA. I should have seen them 3 times, but I got a refund because they couldn't get visas.
Oh, no.
Yeah. That sucked, but then I got to see them a couple of times. They tour a lot, especially in Europe.
Okay, I'll go.
Yeah, I know. For all our European friends, they'll be performing in April and May all over, like truly all over.
Nice.
All over Europe. So definitely check their site. Even if you only like their music a little bit, do yourself a favor. They're so good live.
Yeah.
You will be so appreciative of this podcast for pushing you to check them out.
That's so cool.
So, okay, let's talk about the album. Amasakul, released in 2004, was their international breakthrough record. And the word Amasakul comes from Tamashek roots related to traveling or moving through the land. And the record is a double album, and I could have easily chosen any of the tracks for this episode. Another truly transcendent song is Chet Bogasa, or Women of the Bogasa, about the Tuareg struggle in the Saharan region. But Amasakul in Tenere is also a rebel song about a lone desert traveler, the vast emptiness and the need for calm focus. And for Tinariwen, the desert is a place where a nomadic traveler can reach tranquility and clarity. And there's a Tamashek word, asuf, for a deep feeling of loneliness and longing, especially the sadness of exile. And I think that's really what's so transportive about the song. It reminds me a little bit of that, we talked about it in our nostalgia episode where...
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, right? You have this longing for this experience that you would never actually have. But something about the music, poetry, art, whatever, is so powerful that it takes you there.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's what I get from a lot of their music. Anyway, so, okay, we have this literal place, also kind of a philosophical and psychological place. But let me talk a little bit about the quantum part.
Please.
I do not mean physics. I shouldn't be using the word quantum. I'm talking about perception, and specifically my perception. So when I listen to the song, it feels like the world makes sense. Truly, the rules of motion and time feel clear, perfect even, and I can almost see it charted out. And that might sound a little woo-woo, but there is some neuroscience behind this.
Oh, say more.
Yeah. So in music cognition research, and specifically this paper I found called A Review of Psychological and Neuroscientific Research on Musical Groove. Yes, we'll link to it.
You better.
They talk about groove as being connected to three things: your brain predicting timing, your body syncing to the rhythm, and your reward system lighting up when it all locks in. It's really cool. And there's another neuroscientist, more popular writer, Daniel Levitin, who also talks about this in some of his books that are maybe a little more accessible. But Tinariwen uses a harmonically simple framework, but with really rich rhythmic detail. So you feel like these simple rules are generating infinite texture. So to me, the song feels like the musical equivalent of a fractal. By this point in the song, my attention and my body are synced in a repeating cycle. And when that happens, the boundary between me and the music disappears, and I get kind of a glimpse of oneness. And I guess maybe that's why I said quantum, even though I know that's not the right word. But it's not equations, it's the patterns, the repeat, but never they're never exactly the same. And then the listener is lucky enough to be, I don't know, in another place, even if it's just a more expansive internal place. So I don't know. I just, there's something special,
That's
this
deep.
whole album. No, but it's it's the music that drives me to think about these things.
Yeah.
So crazy.
I know, but I don't think I'm ever going to listen to their music the same again now that I have this type of lens to look through.
No, I don't think you should.
Yeah.
No, but you will have your own experience too.
Sure.
And yeah, there's something special about that song.
That's very cool.
Okay, so I'm so ready to travel with you to another place.
Well, you truly did a great job by selecting this theme for us to release this episode. And I know you did it a little bit to pander to me. And I appreciate that because if any of our listeners are listening on this episode's release date, it's Mardi Gras, baby.
Woohoo. Pops off.
No. Christine, eat some king cake is what people can be doing. Okay. But before I share my pick, I'm pulling a Christine and I'm going to do a very mini deep dive into Mardi Gras, its origins, and the music that goes along with it.
I'm so happy about this because I don't know that much. about this. So yeah, if I don't know a lot, I'm sure some of our listeners don't either. So,
and I have to acknowledge that I'm not going to hit everything. You know, I'm not going to hit every point. I'm not going to hit every historical thing, especially about, just don't worry about it. I'm not a historian. No. I'm a ding dong. So I know this isn't the first time I've talked about Mardi Gras, and contrary to popular belief in the US, you know, a lot of people think it's a New Orleans thing because I grew up in Louisiana and also in the Texas Gulf Coast. A lot of people around here love to celebrate Mardi Gras. They do it in Galveston. They do it in St. Louis. That's the one that perturbs me. In Mobile, Alabama. I know. So a lot of people here like to celebrate it, but it actually originated in Europe. And I'm sure a lot of listeners are screaming, don't forget about Carnival, you know, in Brazil. Like we all know, it's fine. But with the European origins, it has to do, of course, with Christian faith and the way Christians would celebrate by indulging and partying before the beginning of the Lenten season, where there is, of course, I know you know as a Catholic, former Catholic, the Lenten season includes cutting back quite a bit, or one would hope, on eating and drinking. And as I was preparing for this, I even learned that some Christians pre-6th century were so serious about Lent that they abstained from eating and drinking all day and then were allowed one vegetarian meal after sunset, which sounds like another religious practice.
Yeah, exactly.
So interesting. I didn't even know about all that. What I do know is Fat Tuesday is the literal translation of Mardi Gras. Some folks also call it Shrove Tuesday, again, back to the Lenten, you know, the Christian element. But many folks in southern Louisiana and the Gulf Coast, you know, they're celebrating by doing a whole season. There's parades, balls, parties, and generally a lot of festivity. I know I mentioned king cake earlier. That's a big part of it that everybody can get in on, as long as you can eat gluten and whatnot.
And that's the baby Jesus in there?
It's supposed to be a baby Jesus, because the thing that kicks off the Mardi Gras season is Epiphany, which is January 6th, the 3 wise men who find, you know, the baby, whatever. So you're finding the baby in the king cake.
Yeah.
Good one, Christine. I know you're paying attention.
Oh, yeah.
But even now, I'm still not ready to share my song. I have to go pretty far back in history to tee things up for my song. So it might not be as fun as some of the other Mardi Gras or New Orleans or Louisiana music as I've referenced in other episodes, but did you know, Christine, that the people who live in southern Louisiana that have Cajun heritage are actually from New France, aka Acadia?
No. Tell me more.
This is a part of Canada that was, you know, a colony of the French a long, long, long time ago. And descendants of the Louisiana Acadians are most commonly known as Cajuns, which is the anglicized version of Acadian. So you'll hear Acadian a lot when referencing, you know, southern Louisiana, when referencing the type of music. And the part of southern Louisiana that I'm thinking of is like literally called Acadiana. And I don't know if you'll notice what shirt I'm wearing. Listener, I have an Acadiana t-shirt. And what is on here, Christine?
It's hard to see details, but it looks very psychedelic. What is just you're gonna have to describe it because it's a little hard to see.
You have a gator playing an accordion.
Oh, okay. I can't see that.
You have a raccoon playing a banjo. And there's also a possum playing the washboard.
Okay, I can see that. Yeah. Although it looks like a donkey.
It's like to me, I'm almost like, this had to have been made in Louisiana, but it's almost offensive how cartoonish it is. And it says, laissez le bon temps rouler. And then underneath it, let the good times roll, in quotes.
You need a translation.
Like you need a translation. But somebody does, you know. I love this shirt. It's so
a cute
insane.
Shirt. Have you had this since you were a kid?
I don't know when I got this. I'm pretty sure my mom got it for me at a thrift shop.
It's cute.
Very nuts. And I find Cajun culture to be really fascinating. It's something that I was exposed to a lot as a child growing up in Baton Rouge, because so often, I think people think of Louisiana and they think of New Orleans. And New Orleans is its own country. Yeah. It's its own everything. Like a lot of the rest of Louisiana, it's not just that there's like this ubiquitous Cajun heritage, but we do learn about it and we celebrate it. So even in elementary school, we learned about the history of the settlers of southern Louisiana, or Acadiana, as I mentioned. And I really enjoyed hearing about that and learning about all the different types of music that are played in southern Louisiana and throughout Louisiana that represent so many different cultures, including Zydeco, Creole music, Cajun music, and just so much more. And there's a lot of different genres that you can call them, or even types, that I won't have time to dig into today.
I'm curious.
Yeah.
As a kid, how often were you going to New Orleans?
Not all the time, but it's only about a 1-hour drive from Baton Rouge. So it's very close. One thing I really enjoyed as a child, looking back, is, and I do have to thank my parents for this, is just we were always going to events and festivals. That seems like, to me, something that is kind of unique to Louisiana. And it's almost always centered around music and culture. So it was a lot that we were at least going somewhere to go engage in some wild thing.
Oh, that's so cool. I'm envious.
Yeah. I mean, I really look back on that time very fondly. It was fun and weird. But one thing I will say, the Cajuns are known for the celebration of Mardi Gras. And it's, again, not that Mardi Gras that most people are going to have a mental image of. Again, this is not your Bourbon Street. This is not your, parades, things like that. So that's what I want to focus on. And Christine, please help me with the French.
Okay.
The Courrier de Mardi Gras?
Yeah, I mean, that's basically it. But I think the Cajun accent is probably going to be more similar to how you would speak.
Courier.
Right? Courier. I don't know. Courier.
I wish I could share. I will. I'll go find it somewhere. But the way that people in Louisiana speak French is so nuts.
No, I know. I mean, that's what I said. Whenever you would try to speak French, I'm like, it sounds so Louisiana. You have that twang.
I was just a bad student, I'm sure. I remember a lot of those crazy songs. But anyway, the Courrier de Mardi Gras is the Fat Tuesday run. And the run is essentially a group of people. This is typically happening in the countryside, out in rural parts. A group of people, usually men, either on foot or horseback, who are going from house to house to ask or beg for food to be able to make something to eat for the community in a big party. So according to Wikipedia, this is a tradition that comes from the Catholic medieval Europe, and specifically the Fête de la Quémande. Feast of Begging. I don't want a repeat of the Italian, I'm just saying. So during the fete, this was the time when you went from begging from house to house, and it was a socially acceptable thing to do. And people would disguise themselves, just to kind of play it up. And they'd go through the countryside visiting households and performing for offerings. So this is essentially the tradition that they brought with them to rural Louisiana. People dress up in costume, they hide their face and beg for food. And in return, they dance or play music. And then in Louisiana, historically, the prize is a chicken to put into your gumbo.
Okay.
So then the gumbo it's served to everybody in the community. So it's a big celebration. Have you ever seen any of the images of any of the people doing this kind of celebration?
No, definitely not. But now the song is making sense. I don't want to jump ahead to it.
No, that's okay.
But so thank you for that context.
Totally.
And since you mentioned gumbo, sorry, just one quick question. Do you have a gumbo place? I know it's tricky for you because of vegetarian but do you have a favorite gumbo place in LA?
Oh, have you ever been to the Little Jewel of New Orleans?
No.
I hope it's still open. I think it's in Chinatown.
Oh.
The Little Jewel or the Little Gem? I think it's Little Jewel. Oh. That place is so fun.
Oh.
Have you had gumbo in LA?
I've had the gumbo pot at the farmer's market on Fairfax.
Have you ever? No, I've never been.
Yeah. That was a big thing we used to do a lot
so
in
funny.
the early 2000s.
Okay,
sorry.
I will say, though, because if anybody goes and Googles the image of the Mardi Gras, the rural celebrations, the costumes look a bit spooky. They look a little bit Klan-like.
Oh, okay.
And I just want to identify now that they have nothing to do with the Klan. This was such a historically old tradition, because sometimes they have pointy cloth hoods and stuff like that. And it's pretty out there. So even if you go to a New Orleans parade, sometimes you'll see people wearing those they're costumes that are meant to look like the old ones. I just want to call that out. So you're welcome to do your own research. But just disclaimer.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Finally, I'm ready to share my song. And that song is La Danse de Mardi Gras by the Balfa Brothers from their 1967 album. The Balfa Brothers play traditional Cajun music, Volume 1 and 2. Le Mardi Gras, ça vient de tout partout. Tout le temps, la tour du mouilleux. Ça passe une fois par an. Had you heard the song before I shared it with you?
Never heard it, but I instantly loved it.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. No, for sure.
Okay.
I was curious about the lyrics, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't like, I was driven to do more research about it. And that's the thing about our game and doing the podcast. I'm going to learn. But I know I loved it. It's fun to listen to.
I'm so interested to hear you say that. And I'll say more in a little bit. But like, it's fascinating to me because this song, anytime I hear it, it's like a time machine or a walking into a portal because I'm time warped to another place and time. And that's where I really, when you said another place, like this is me. I'm little. I'm probably outdoors listening to music. It might be a little bit cold outside because Mardi Gras is always in early spring and maybe a little wet. And there's definitely some revelry going on. And that's just like, what a experience when listening to music to have that just transfiction and just being like, I'm not even here anymore. I'm literally standing outside in like Lafayette or something. So I'm not even thinking of a particular instance. It's just that feeling of celebrating Mardi Gras season in southern Louisiana. And that's, again, back to the point, not New Orleans. Like this is rural Louisiana because it's more of the Cajun celebration. And so one of the things that's neat about this song, it's probably the most famous Cajun song in the world. The Balfa brothers were Dewey, Will, and Rodney Balfa, and Hadley Fontenot, an accordionist and acquaintance of the family. And while the group got together in 1951, they adopted the name the Balfa Brothers in 1967 when they put out this album and started touring and playing at European folk festivals, which actually brought Cajun music to a foreign audience where it had largely been forgotten even in America, which is kind of interesting considering your pick did the same thing.
Yeah.
It's just like it's over the course of, many, many decades later. Yeah. Did you know the first Cajun song wasn't even recorded until 1928?
No.
That seems so late to me.
It does. No, it seems like it would have been, I don't know, at least another like 50 years earlier at least.
Right. I know. And like thinking about what's important to people. And as I mentioned, previously, Cajun culture is really unique and different from truly pretty much so much else in the United States. Like, even when I was a child, I was aware that there were people in Louisiana who only spoke Cajun French and, like, not even English.
Yeah.
Which is, interesting to me. But, like, much like the origin of the Acadian people who were largely expelled from Canada by the British, Cajun customs and cultures weren't always studied and celebrated, and hence the, very late recording of a Cajun song. As a matter of fact, in 1916, they started implementing mandatory English language education, which was, imposed in Louisiana. And Cajuns were even told their French language skills were useless. But then when World War II happened, they go to France, and a lot of Cajun soldiers were utilized as translators, which made them feel like a renewed sense of pride for having this language skill. So later, back to our buddy Dewey Balfa, he joined Gladius Thibodeau and Venus Lejeune at the 1964 Newport Folk Festival, and that performance was actually so loved. It was like 17,000 people in attendance. I don't know how many, but they got a standing ovation because it was like, it must have felt so new to the attendees, you know? And it really sparked a major revived interest in traditional Cajun music in the mid-1960s.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see like when Bob Dylan's performing at the Newport Folk Festival and this being on one of the stages for the more traditional. Over there like,
he's mad.
He's chain smoking cigarettes.
Love Bob. But then in 1972, there was a council for the development of French in Louisiana, and they actually started an annual festival that came to be known as the Festival Acadien, which is now the Festival Acadien and Creole, just celebrating both cultures because of course, there's so much fraught history in Louisiana because of the slave trade and just what culture is wound up there, that you can't just contribute a lot of this to white settlers. You have to think about the grander scheme. So we were really lucky to be able to go to that festival, and I'll share a link in case anyone is enterprising and wants to go check it out. I would highly recommend it. It happens in Lafayette, and it's in the fall.
Oh, cool.
Capitaine, capitaine, voyage ton flag, Lancelot voisin.
Okay, so back to my song. It's essentially a song about that Mardi Gras run where people go around begging and following a captain who's kind of leading the crew. And the reason why I was surprised when you said you just like immediately loved it is because it sounds so serious to me. You know, there's something kind of pleading and very, I don't know, maybe it's the fiddle or
I know, but I like that.
Yeah?
Yeah. I think I like that transportive like nature of the song, that it does make you feel so a part of this world. Now knowing even more about the background, this historical context of it, it just like it makes me more excited to get into it, get into the song.
That's cool. I think for me it's like the listening to this song compared to something like you would hear at a New Orleans parade, which would be something like usually played by a marching band or by a brass band or something really fun. And like, I don't know, I like that there's this pride in the culture and like the tradition that they're maintaining. So it is really interesting. And then, the funny thing is, even though I always thought it was such a serious song, they're just guys talking about begging for something to put in their gumbo, whether it's a potato or a skinny chicken, you know? So, it's a fun one. I love the Mardi Gras traditions quite often, but this one in particular, I would sit out. You're not going to find me in a field chasing after a skinny chicken, and that is okay. It is not my culture, after all. I was just an observer and a celebrant. But I do hope this has been a useful, mini deep dive into the Cajun Mardi Gras experience, especially for our international listeners who might not be as familiar. Or our U.S.-based listeners who are not from Louisiana.
Or your co-host.
Or my co-host. Thank you.
I've appreciated this very much.
But me too. It was really a fun opportunity to be taken to another place.
I know.
And taken back.
Love that, yeah.
However, is this our time, Christine?
I think it's time to get back to that soapbox.
Very good. In response to recent events, Stereothematica is issuing a statement on meetings.
If you're averaging more than 3 meetings a day, and a lot of us are, not me, something besides capitalism is broken.
Sadly, we're not stating anything new, revolutionary, or even funny here. That's the problem. Everyone is meeting too much, and we all know it.
Some meetings are necessary, but most meetings could be emails, and most emails could be a quick conversation and occasionally a simple internal thought.
Research has shown time and again that video meetings in particular are significantly more exhausting than in-person or phone conversations. And the fact that we have an actual term, Zoom fatigue, is a clue as to just how real and damaging the increased cognitive load and sustained attention demands can be.
And that cost is not distributed evenly. If you're neurodivergent or just wired a little differently, those demands compound fast.
This isn't a call to cancel all meetings. It's a simple urging to question why we're meeting at all. And if the answer isn't clear, maybe we don't need a calendar invite to find out.
Thank you for your support. And now, Christina, what's the hint for our next episode?
Next week, we're questioning the origins of success. Thanks for listening to Stereothematica. If you like what you're hearing, please consider a review, a rating, or sharing with a friend.
Subscribe now on your favorite podcast platform and follow us on Instagram, where you can share the songs that take you to another place.
And visit stereothematica.com for more fun. Laissez les bons temps brûler!